Hello and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'll be reviewing my custom LEGO Transformer. Now, before I get into this video, I'd like to point out the fact that I now have a channel membership. And considering many people have been asking for months and months for me to do instructions for these builds, on that channel membership for every single tier, you can now unlock the instruction video for this guy. Meaning, for as little as £1 a month, you can now get instructions for all future builds of mine. But anyways, I think it's time we get on to this review. So here he is in his Xbox Series X mode, and obviously there's also a TV. Now this is definitely not to scale, but for the scale of this build, and considering it's LEGO, I think it works quite well. Obviously nobody has a TV or monitor this small, but it does work quite well here, and it definitely works well for the robot mode. Unfortunately, the back is slightly messy, as well as this side, but I don't really see any point of displaying him that way, as nobody really tends to display their figures from the back. Now, for some comparisons, obviously, this does not scale with any figure that I own, but just for some general size comparisons so you can get a sense of scale, here he is with Legacy Leadfoot, which is actually a pretty fun deluxe figure. But you can see here, he is definitely around deluxe scale, considering like all the parts count and stuff. And I'd also like to point out, the TV does not detach for transformation, so it is actually a part of him. And obviously, it is not scaled with the minifigure. I'd also like to say, I would have preferred to get a white stud for the Xbox logo, but I couldn't find any that didn't have prints on them, so this grey one is just going to have to do. And it's not that important of a detail in robot mode anyway, so I think it's fine for now. But after all that, I think it's time for the transformation. So you can see the TV is connected by this ball joint piece, and we're just going to hinge it to the side. This will just give us clearance for the next step. So using the hinges there, we can unfold the entire side as well as the back of the Xbox. And we can also untab the air cooling piece at the top. And using the ball joint you can see at the side, we can just rotate these around. And this is all going to become one arm eventually. And now, the entire side panels as well as these top pieces are on ball joints, so you can just hinge them up like that. And using the ball joints at the knees, we can just rotate it around. And moving the camera up, these entire side pieces are on these double hinge joints, so we can fold the first one, and then compressing the next one as it forms these kind of shoe pieces for him. And it also forms his feet, which I think these actually look quite good. Now we can extend the torso piece, and to do this we just need to double hinge these pieces and also fold the legs up. And this torso panel is just on a stud connection, so we can just swivel it around like that. And for the TV arm, just so it has a little more colour showing, we can rotate around this wire piece so it shows the red at the front. And rotating the stand part around, we can also unfold it, and this is going to form his shoulder panel, so it should look something like this, where there's just a big spike. And using some other ball joints, we can now rotate the TV down to the side, and it's going to form this kind of shield piece, but it also has a gun, which to form the gun, we can use these hinge pieces and fold it out to the side. And just to add some more detail, we can rotate around that red section, and that is one of his arms complete. So for this other arm, we can start by rotating around the elbow piece at the ball joint. And we can also take all these air cooling sections that were on the top of the Xbox, and we can rotate this around as this is going to form one of his hands. And for the final step here on this arm, we can just take the rest of the Xbox part, which is the back of it, and just compress it into the arm. And now for the head, we can rotate around on one of the jumper plates. And using that T-bar piece, we can just hinge it into place. And that is it for the transformation. So, here he is in his robot mode. And I think this guy does look quite good. I definitely like how I've managed to get the asymmetrical design. Obviously one arm is completely formed out of the TV, which is a slightly skinnier arm with a shield and gun, and the other arm is just the mass of all the rest of the Xbox. And I definitely like how the boots managed to compress using the entire sides of the Xbox. It does work quite well for this design. And in general, it's just a very fun design, as it's not conventional, but it just works quite well here. And he reminds me of those AllSpark creations from the first live action movie. But I think this is more of a recent version compared to the Xbox that was in the actual film. So spinning him around, you can see here one of the arms is significantly bigger, but I actually really think this adds to his appearance. I also decided to make the TV stand red just so it stands out a little more, as there are some red accents in his robot mode that are revealed. Unfortunately, he is slightly skinny from the back, but that's just due to trying to fit everything into the Xbox mode, as it does have to be one solid box. But I do like the appearance of this cannon arm, as I think it just works quite well for this wacky design. So for some general comparisons, here he is with DK2 Guard, which kind of inspired this color scheme, and you can definitely see the similarities with the red and black. And here he is with Silver Streak, so you can see he is slightly taller than the average deluxe height, but slightly smaller than your typical Voyager. And obviously he is definitely not to scale with minifigures, as he would tower over them, which is obviously not realistic. But here he is with a Speed Champions car anyway. Now, I'm not going to cover the specific articulation, but in general, he does have pretty much all the joints you would expect, except he doesn't have the head swivel just due to how it transforms. But, considering his wacky design, you actually can get him to some decent poses, so here he is in a few. And I also think it's cool how you can utilize the shield arm or the cannon, just to get him balanced or to have him in a shooting pose, which does work quite well. And honestly, you wouldn't expect the articulation to be that good for such a strange design, especially with the asymmetric arm design. But I think that just about covers it for the robot mode. So yeah, this was actually a pretty fun build to design, as I do want to do more original characters. And while I'm recording this, I actually have another original character that's coming up. But like always, if you want to see more LEGO Transformers, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to see the instructions for this guy, don't forget to sign up to the channel membership. So anyways, I'll see everyone next week. So have a great time.